It's finally here. Sports Interactive have given us the final feature reveal for FM24, or at least the only major one that is left. I know they're going to update us on some minor things later down the line, but this is the big one, the one that a lot of us have been asking for, not just for FM23, but over the last few years, and that is an improvement to set pieces. So we're going to break down the reveal for you now, give you our general thoughts on it, whether we think it's the right kind of changes, whether it's what we wanted. So with that being said, if you do enjoy the video, as usual, smash the like button for us. Takes a few seconds but helps us out massively. Subscribe if you haven't already ahead of FM24 so you don't miss out on any of the content that we release. Probably the most important one though is asking you guys for your thoughts on this feature reveal. Are you happy with these changes to set pieces? I've seen it and I imagine a lot of you are gonna say yes. I'm actually quite excited for this. And the last thing, if you do enjoy me, if you enjoy my content, check out in the description once this is done my channel if you would be so kind. We've got some rebuilds over there that I'm sure you'll enjoy and we're pushing for 25k subs, so any support would be awesome. Okay, we've done enough talking, let's get into it. Set pieces refresh and coaches debut, that being set piece coaches. If you've played the recent iterations of Football Manager, you'll know the set pieces were really outdated compared to the rest of the game. Creating a tactic, for example, that's changed over recent years and you kind of get your hand held a little bit in creating certain tactical styles and it's so much more user-friendly, whereas the set-piece routines were, I mean, unless you were really used to them, no one was really touching them. I know some people made their own corner routine, but realistically, how many of you can say you had a free kick routine, you had a defensive corner routine, you had defending set pieces set up? Most people weren't doing any of this. Most of us just went near post on a corner, that was it. Now we're going to be able to sort that out with a much better system that seems a lot more user-friendly. It seems a lot more akin to everything else within Football Manager now. And also you can delegate this responsibility completely to your set-piece coach so he can deal with all of that stuff. But more to come on that a little bit later. Let's see what Sports Interactive have said. In real life, many elite clubs have added set-piece specialists, that's a bit of a tongue twister, to their coaching teams, as we've all seen in real life football, to try and give them that edge. And we've been calling out for it for a while, as they mentioned. So set-piece coaches will be making their debut. So let's first talk about this new staff member, the set piece coach, which is a powerful new voice in your backroom team. Now, unlike some of the staff they've added in recent years where they have very limited, let's be honest, usability. As good and as useful as they are, how many people actually use their data analysts, their loan managers? A lot of us do ignore those kind of things, but a set piece coach will be absolutely crucial in your team, especially when you're looking to get the edge in a top division club or a club that at least has the money to employ someone like this. What we're seeing now with every single staff member is the introduction of the set piece attribute, which of course determines how good these coaches are at setting up the set pieces, how effective they're going to be. Tactical knowledge, motivating, level of discipline and determination, they're also having an effect on how good of a set piece coach someone can be. And as it mentions here, instead of having the scouting panel on the right hand side for a set piece coach, you'll now see their set piece preferences. I'll try and put the image on screen for you right now, but you can basically see things such as where they favour putting the ball, and it really does tell you all the information about how this staff member is going to set up. So you really want to identify a set piece coach that kind of fits in with what you're looking for. But that's not necessarily going to be the be all and end all, because you will actually have a say in your set pieces without a coach or with a coach. So let's have a look how these set pieces now work. So these new coaches can have a big impact on your career straight away, and they are the driving force behind their new set piece creator, which is something we've all been crying out for so long. Beforehand, as it mentions in old Football Managers, all of these corner routines were based on positions of a player. So if you were playing a corner to the near post, for example, and you wanted to put your big man there, you'd drag, say, your centre back into that position. However, if you then subbed on, a 4'9" centre back, the ball would still be going to him, whereas now it's not going to be based on position, but instead, like every other set piece, from free kicks to corner takers to penalty takers, there's going to be some kind of order that you can set up so that you can have a preference of, if this player is on, he should go up and head the ball. If Harry Maguire's out injured, then we'll have Ruben Dias come up. To sum it up simply, as they say, the focus of every routine and scenario is now on the player with the most appropriate attributes instead of their position in your tactic. Now, when you get one of these set piece coaches in your side, they're going to actually ask you a series of questions. It's going to determine the kind of set pieces that they set up. The first question will ask you how you want to defend, whether it's zonal, hybrid, or man marking. There'll be some kind of visualization for this, like when you're setting up your tactics and you get the recommendations and you get a rough idea of, say, oh, if I choose a gegenpress, that's recommended by my coaches. Here's an example of how it will look. You're going to get a similar kind of thing by the looks of it, with pros and cons listed for each of these different set piece types. And it will also tell you what your set piece coach's preferred preferred option is. Again, linking back to the tactics, the coaches give you a thumbs up on the tactics they think make sense, and the set piece coaches are no different when it comes to set pieces. They will give you their preferred option, but then they'll ask you extra questions, for example, how aggressive you want to counter-attack, where the corner's going to be aimed at, and then the set piece coach is going to take this away and basically create set piece routines from that. Now, you could completely leave it up to him from there. You could let him do whatever he wants, or you can go in and manually tweak things yourself. Here's an image of a set piece creator now. Again, I'll overlay it on screen. But even though it might look complicated and different at first, it definitely is a lot more streamlined than what we did have. You get a rough idea of what you're expecting from each routine, and as mentioned, you can kind of hand this over to your staff if you want to. You can set roles for players within your set piece routines. Aerial threat, box threat, recovery defender, and creators are listed here. They're the key roles outside of the actual corner taker itself. It'll go through your hierarchy list of who is going to be the big man, the aerial threat in your team, the same for your box threat, the same for your recovery defenders too. You're going to have a priority list, which is so much better than what we did have, because that means that you don't have to tinker things. Like it says, you no longer need to micromanage your setups every time something changes. Now, these routines aren't going to work instantly. There is a new feature called set piece familiarity. Works the same way as tactical familiarity. As players train and use a tactic, they eventually get better at playing that tactic, or at least they understand it more, and it's the same case for set pieces now. The more they do it, the more they train it, the better they're going to be in these situations. Now, it's not just corners that have been changed. Obviously, this is set pieces as a whole. So when you're reviewing your free kick routines, defensively or offensively, there will now be differences, including defensively. You can choose the line height on your free kicks. You can even set it so your goalkeeper decides if he wants a wall or not. I imagine his decision-making attribute will take some kind of influence there. But yes, free kicks have changed, corners have changed, and so have throw-ins. Now, we've had it in years gone by where throw-ins are completely ineffective, and we've had it in years where throw-ins are the most overpowered thing in the world and no team knows how to deal with them. We'll see where that scale falls on FM24, hopefully somewhere in the middle, but in a similar way to what we saw earlier with the corners, there's going to be a kind of guided process with throw-ins. You can choose whether you want to retain the possession with your throw-ins, work the line, or if you want to do one of them big long throws, Roy Delap style, into the box to try and score, the ones that have been effective quite a lot in recent years in FM. Once more, you can set your hierarchies for all of these roles, so who's going to be in the box, who's going to be the throw-in taker, who's going to be lurking on the edge of the area, very similar to what we saw with corners. And again, if you want to, you can hand all of this over to your set piece coaches to do the job for you. A side note as well, they also mention penalties has been put into its own tab, and there's additional customization there, which allows you to turn on a setting where if a player misses a penalty, they don't take the next one. So that's something if you're interested in doing, you can tweak that and go into those minor details. But as we mentioned before, you can hand all of this over to your set piece coach. You can have as little involvement as you want, and it will even go as far as if you have, say, corner takers in your team and you've got, you know, your best corner taker has 15, then you sign a player with 16 corner taking. If you hand over these responsibilities, your coaches will actually do the job for you and put this new corner taker at the top of the hierarchy for taking corners. They'll recognize his ability and put him there. So that is great. Now, another feature that is going to be very useful, particularly if you're a struggling team and you need those minor details to try and get the points. Now you can see your rival's ability on set pieces in a much more streamlined manner. You'll get certain information types that will allow you to see where teams are effective from corners. I believe all this information was still in the game. I could be wrong in that, but it does say there's new visuals to illustrate how this is done. So now you'll easily be able to see, oh, this team are really bad at defending corners. At the same time, it works defensively. You can see where a team tends to aim their corner deliveries, and you can work off of that. Again, I imagine you'll be able to handle all of this opposition customization to your set piece coaches to do the job for you. But there you go. With this set piece refresh, we're going to be able to change everything from the way that we take throw-ins to corners to how we defend them. And the biggest one for me, thank God you no longer have to tweak those set piece routines when you make minor changes to your squad. That is a godsend, something you've been asking for. There's a few pictures to finish off, but you get the idea. So there you go, the new revamped set piece routines for FM24. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. I'm actually quite impressed with this, happy with what it is. It's everything I expected, to be honest, when they said that they were changing set pieces. But again, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we're not too far away from FM24 now, so I hope you're all excited, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.